Minneapolis, on a gray morning outside the federal courthouse, two conversations unfolded at once. Inside, a judge imposed prison time on one of the largest pandemic fraud cases in American history. The case centered on feeding our future and involving roughly 91 million meals falsely claimed, and about $300 million in federal funds diverted, jurors convicted, key defendants. Others pleaded guilty. Restitution orders reached into the tens of millions. Outside, parents walked children to school. A cafe opened for lunch rush. A small Halil grocery stacked boxes and produce for deliveries. Both scenes are Minnesota. The fraud was real. So is the community living with its fallout. When the court established, federal prosecutors proved that dozens of defendants used falsified meal counts and shell companies to obtain reimbursements from a child nutrition program expanded during COVID. Some sites reported thousands of meals a day. In many cases, meals were not served. The program grew rapidly during the pandemic. Oversight lagged. Reimbursements relied heavily on self-reporting. By 2021, funds flowed through Minnesota's program had increased dramatically from pre-pandemic levels. The verdicts closed one chapter, they opened another. The question in the air, many of the defendants had Somali names. Minnesota is home to one of the largest Somali American populations in the country. That visibly overlaps with fueled a wider debate about crime, immigration, and accountability. At a community meeting in Cedar Riverside, an elder stood and said what many in the room were feeling. We are angry too. That money was for children. A small business owner who immigrated from Somali 20 years ago said the case has hurt trust. Customers look at you differently. That's the hardest part. A city council member said the anger is understandable. Taxpayers were betrayed, but we cannot let the betrayal turn into collective blame. What the data does and does not show. The United States does not publish direct crime rates by county of birth or standard federal crime data sets. Analysts sometimes use survey proxies for the American Community Survey, which measures whether someone lives in institutional group quarters, which includes prison. Some researchers argue that when isolating young group ages 18 to 29 and adjusting for arrival age, Somali-born men appear to have higher incarceration proxy rates than comparable native-born men. Others caution that small sample sizes and survey limitations make those estimates unstable, but it's the best we have, and it seems to imply that young Somali men are twice as likely to be in prison than those born in the United States. There's no official DOJ table, though, that lists incarceration rates by Somali ethnicity nationwide. What is clear is narrower. A specific fraud network exploited weak controls during a crisis. Courts held individuals accountable. Network, not nation. Criminal enterprises often form within tight social business networks. Trust makes conditional easier. Opportunity makes fraud possible. Weak oversight lowers the barrier. That pattern has appeared across many communities in American history. It's not unique to one ethnicity. Minnesota's Somali American community includes tens of thousands of residents, nurses, teachers, police officers, truck drivers, entrepreneurs, and students. The defendants represent a small fraction of the population. That distinction does matter. Where Minnesota goes from here, state officials say oversight reforms are underway, tighter verification of meal counts, stronger audits, clearer sponsor accountability. Community leaders say trust will take longer. At the same meeting in Cedar Riverside, a high school senior spoke quietly. We're tired of being defined by this. We want to be known for what we build. The fraud damaged public trust, though. It did not erase an entire community. Minnesota now faces a choice: hold individuals accountable, fix broken systems, and resist the urge to turn a criminal case into a story about the entire population. Both justice and unity require discipline. The verdict delivered the first, the second is still in progress. So, for a list of those that were convicted, there were 79 in all.